What's up, everybody? So today I'm going to be breaking down whether or not Trump has economically delivered for the Hispanic/Latino community and for the Black/African American community. He's made a lot of claims on this, that it's the greatest economy ever, and that he has actually tweeted about economic inequality, and that he actually cares about that and cares about solving that problem. And it makes sense. The Gini coefficient is a measure of economic inequality, and as economic inequality becomes too sharp, society becomes more and more violent. So one of the best ways to mitigate that is to ensure a more equitable distribution of wealth, which does not have to be done through special government programs. It just has to be done through a fair and natural distribution of wealth through the market, and then the normal policies that we have. One of the problems is that we currently have the natural distribution of wealth as opposed to the redistribution of wealth. We have the natural distribution of wealth that has been distorted to favor capitalists over laborers. But that's another point entirely. Today I'm going to be right now in this video, I'm going to be breaking down what Trump has done for the Black community or African American community. And instead of going through 100 years of history, I'm just going to compare Trump to Clinton, Bush, and Obama. I'm going to go through all of their data, and I'm going to exclude 2008 and 2009 because of the crash. So Bush and Obama are helped by that adjustment. And then I'm going to compare the median household income of Black families, of the Black community, over 1993 to 2019. So we have 2 years of Trump, really, 24 months. You have 2017 to 2019, and the differences there. Obama has 7 years. I'm only excluding one of his years. So he has 7 years we'll be taking into account, 2010 to 2017. Bush, I'm excluding 2008 and 2009 from his record, so he will only be getting about 6 years worth of data, or 2001 to 2007. And then Clinton did pretty well. He benefited from the internet and tech boom, and he had a pretty good run from 1993 to 2001. And I'm not going to be excluding any numbers from his. Now, excluding 2008 and 2009 only helps Bush and Obama, so you can extrapolate from there that Bush did worse and that Obama actually also did worse than the numbers that I'm coming up with, because the drop in 2010 of median household income was actually less than what it was in 2009. So Barack started from a smaller or a lower level and then grew from there, as opposed to starting in 2009. If we did that kind of data analysis, he'd be starting from a higher number and then growing from there. So I'm helping him out, actually, and hurting. I'm helping Bush and I'm helping Obama on both sides by making this adjustment. Okay, so how did each of these presidents, on a per year basis, fare in terms of increasing Black household income or African American household income? Clinton, over his 8 years, averaged $1,066.50 roughly per year in additional median household income for the Black community. So about 8,000 or so over the course of 8 years. 8,532 over the course of 8 years. So he did pretty good. 1,000 a year is pretty solid. Bush was terrible for the Black community. He really was. Bush actually averaged over his 6 years about negative $130 a year. He actually lost the Black community during his 6 years I'm counting, not including the recession year of 2008 and 9. He actually lost the Black community median household income money, about $130 a year, totaling a drop of $736 over his 6 years that I'm counting, 01 to 07. So he was really bad economically. And so here's an interesting side note. one of my favorite metrics to play around with is GDP growth percentages and the number of jobs created per point of GDP created. And what you saw under Bush was a lot of GDP growth, but very little job growth, and a lot of sectors actually losing jobs, and the labor participation rate was dropping continuously throughout his presidency, starting right before his presidency in 2000, and then going all the way through to the end of his presidency. It kept dropping, and that continued through Obama. So GDP is not a great metric in and of itself, but it is a great metric along with others, and it's a great fundamental metric. But you can get more or less jobs out of the same GDP depending on the underlying policies. So GDP is not necessarily everything, but it is very important, and it is the measure of the productivity of the economy. How much of that is actually going to laborers is a different question, but a related question, obviously. Okay, so Bush was terrible. Obama, from 2010 to 2017, increased black or African American median household income by $3,306 over the course of his 7 years that I'm counting, which equates to $472 a year, roughly, of increased median black household income. So Obama grew that at about half the pace of Clinton, but obviously he majorly outpaced Bush. Bush really underperformed for the black community. Now Trump. Now we have, so the numbers I'm using, because obviously 2020 is a chaotic year, and we don't know where we're going to end up on the other side of this once all the numbers are tallied and finalized. But so I'm just going to be using 2017 to 2019, and we'll see how this goes. But in a year like this, with how crazy it's been, I will be satisfied if we can just recover the majority of the jobs lost that have been lost. That won't happen until we have a full opening up of the economy. Even if businesses aren't going to have as much business because of the limitations of COVID and how people don't want to go shop and risk their lives and everything, opening up the economy will bring back most of the jobs that we've lost if it's done in the next couple of months. If we start to open things back up in the areas that are heavily restricted. It's not a COVID issue, really. It's just an arbitrary government control issue. Anyways, putting 2020 aside, in the 2 years that I have to measure, 2017 to 2019, the black household income, median household income, increased by $4,400. So in the 7 years that I'm counting, that actually help, the 7 years that I'm counting that actually helps Obama's numbers, he got 3,300, and in 2 years Trump has gotten 4,400. So he's obviously seriously outpaced that. That's per year, just under $2,200, $2,191.50 per year of median household income. So Trump, for the black community in particular, he has delivered phenomenally well economically, increasing median black household income at more than 4 times the pace of Obama, more than twice the pace of Clinton, and Bush is just a joke to even try to compare him to because Bush was so bad. Okay, so that's economically what has Trump done for the black community. Now, he has also helped pass, or Jared Kushner, along with various other members of Washington, as well as congressmen and everything, they passed the First Step Act. The First Step Act just instituted programs where if inmates participated in programs that had statistical evidence of reducing recidivism. I don't even know if I'm saying that right. But basically, if you participated in programs that had statistical backing to say that it would decrease the likelihood of you going back to prison, it will give you the skills you need to go out there and actually survive and thrive in the world. If you take those programs, we'll actually give you time off of your sentence. So it incentivizes things both ways. It makes it so that they have something to make them want to do the work, and then once they do the work, it'll help reduce long-term criminality and any recidivism man, that's rough. I'm having a rough time with that one. But reducing the rate at which inmates return to prison after having been there already. And that is, sorry. So the economic stuff is an immediate bit of evidence to say that he's delivered. The First Step Act will play itself out over years in terms of its impact. So we'll have to look at that 10 years from now and see if there's no other significant change in criminal justice. Then we can say that it's had an impact if there's any statistical shift in the black community's imprisonment rate. And that's it. In terms of Trump helping the black community, feel free to check out my Trump helping the Hispanic community video. I will be breaking down all those numbers, and have a great one. Peace.